Hello, hello, everybody. Keith Ferrante here, just coming to you live on Memorial Day. I guess it probably won't be live when you're hearing it, but it's live to me. And let's just invite Holy Spirit into our time today, and I want to chat about friendship. So, Holy Spirit, we just invite you into our time today. We need you. You are the friend that sticks closer than a brother, and I thank you so much for every person watching this, listening to this, what you have for them. Pray you just bring impact to them today and just bring some things up in their heart that you want to help them get clarity on. And, I've been writing this book on friendship, and I'll let you guys know more about that as it comes out. It should be coming out before too long. I've been wrestling. The only thing that's holding me back from this book coming out is just a subtitle. I've been wrestling through a subtitle for the book on friendship. But I've been in the process of that. I had a friend of mine, a local connection, said the only book he had ever heard of on friendship. Because I told him, I said, I haven't really seen much out there on friendship. There's a lot of books out there on loneliness. There's a lot of books. There are a few little books on friendship of certain things, but um, I really just felt like this was a subject that, uh, has not really been, deeply dived into, and he said, "Well, the only book I know on friendship is a book called Spiritual Friendship, and it's over 1,000 years old." So I got it. It's by a guy named Alred of Rivelax. I don't even know if I'm probably pronouncing it right, but he was a monk, and, anyways, I got this book, and I have just been loving this. It's incredible to see that even over 1,000 years ago, somebody could had been fighting for what friendship was. Just like in my own journey, I've been doing that for the last 10 years. I've been on a pursuit of true friendship for the last 10 years. Now, I've had some friends before then, and the Lord really, I've had some temporary friends. I had some transactional friends. But I didn't recognize, I didn't even know what a transactional friend was until really the last years of really defining the difference. But it's been fun to read this book, and I wrote it. I've underlined a bunch of things. I've put some uh, quotes that stuck out to me, and we'll just maybe process for a few moments, and it'll give you some food for thought. As my friendship book comes out, we'll probably go into a lot deeper into friendship, and I'm hoping it'll provoke some true, genuine friendships to emerge for you guys, and that you can begin to discern through real friends and transactional friends. I was just at a business gathering the other day. My best friend Pedro and I are hosting here in Orange County, and we're hosting here in Orange County, and we started something here in Orange County we're doing. And one of the business guys there was processing and asking for some input. He says, "You know what? I don't have any friends. I have thousands of people that I've worked with over the years and made a lot of money, but they're all transactional relationships. Everybody that I come into contact wants something." And and I thought, well, I appreciate the honesty and the vulnerability, because that's real, and that's probably been a lot of people's journey, especially that have been in the business world, political world, even the church world, which I've been in a little bit of all three of those. And it for me, the reason why I began to kind of move over to intentionally find friends, even though I had a couple, as I said, I had a couple friends before then. 10 years ago, I had related to business guys. They were my source of income, and because I was on the still on the more of the church way of thinking around finances, and I was traveling all over the world as a prophetic voice and an encouragement to the body of Christ. And then you have patrons, what you call patrons, or donors. Donors are, maybe people that are sending you $25 a month, $50. Patron is someone who sends you a couple $1,000 here and there, or however it is. And you kind of learned this sort of way that the church world operated with a nonprofit. And so I would have business patrons that would become friends, what I thought was friends, and we would connect, but then you ended up finding some wonky moments because they were your dollars and you were like the spiritual insights and the pastor and the prophetic voice, and it was like, okay, I think we're friends, but then these strings get pulled from either side, and it became messy, and it was like eventually I saw it's like this is a dish. This I don't want this. I don't want this way of relating. I don't want friendships this way. I want no money in the middle of our friendship as and I'm not going to be somebody's prophetic voice. And so it's like I finally came to the end of that, and then that's when I met, I went on a journey to find friends and uh, picked 3 guys in our local area and just started. I know it was probably a little cheesy and awkward, but it was just all I knew how to do it. It's like the Lord says you're lonely, you need some friends. And uh, I have maybe even hundreds of people that I related to, dozens at least of peers in the vocational ministry world of pastors and itinerants and prophets and this and that we hung out, we chatted, we had good food together. I would go minister at their church, or we might hang out in mutual conferences or whatever. And I thought these were my friends, but I didn't realize there was a difference. There's a difference. Now, did I get some breakthroughs from them? Yes. Did I bring some breakthroughs to them? Yes. Did I receive some sort of emotional nutrients in the journey? Yes, I'm sure I did. But the Lord was showing me there's a better way. There's a higher way. Um, there's more than this. There's a cleaner way, and it's a more rare, rare way. That word doesn't use that much. Rare. It's less known way of pure relationships that are not based on function, not based on transaction, not based on what I can give you and what you can give me, but based on purity. Uh, from this book, Spiritual Friendship, here's a quote that I picked up that reinforced this. Now, I already wrote my book before I found this book, so this is just an added bonus that I'm like, oh wow, it's so cool to run into someone that's already wrestled through so much 1,000 years ago. And I love catching some of these old nuggets from the saints that have gone before and pulling them into the now and redeeming them. And so he said, worldly friendship, which is born of a desire for temporal advantage or possessions, is always full of deceit and intrigue. Whoa. Now, this language might be a little old language, but I hope you can catch it. Worldly friendship, which is born of a desire for temporal advantage. In other words, a friendship that's actually of the world and not a spiritual friendship, because his book is spiritual friendship. So, like, what's a pure godly friendship from the throne of heaven? What does that look like? He differentiates. Worldly friendship always has some sort of thing you're trying to get, temporal advantage or possessions. And it's always full of deceit and intrigue. What does that mean? You're not trying to act like it's about the possessions and the things you're going to get. You're trying to act like it's about that person. Man, I love hanging out with you. It's so great to be with you here. Man, it's so fun. I care about you and you care about me. But underneath, there's like, I want your stuff. I want your position. I want to be around you because you're important, quote, quote. You're somebody of influence. You're somebody of this. You're somebody of that. Here's what he says further. It contains nothing certain, nothing constant, nothing secure. For to be sure, it ever changes with fortune and follows the purse. In other words, this kind of friendship that you might think are friends. See, I used to think lots of people were my friends, but I didn't realize there's a lot of people that wanted me because of what I brought them in breakthrough and as a prophetic voice. A lot of business people are wanted at the core because of their dollars. A lot of political people, a lot of people that are in any realm of influence can be wanted for their position. Poor people, they say nobody wants to be around. It's like Proverbs even talks about a poor person does not struggle with friendship issues because, but the truth is, okay, if you are a friend to someone who is poor and it's not a charity case, you're not there to help them out. You genuinely just care about them because of who they are. It doesn't have the entrapments of material things, positions, this or that. Now, these guys like Elred of Rivelux, I'd probably botching the name. He had embraced a vow of poverty, a vow of celibacy, no marriage, all of these sort of things. And he was trying to wrestle out how to have pure friends without having any material things. Now, it's one thing to figure out true friendship when you have nothing like he did. And he found there was a lot of ditches, even as someone that didn't have anything to offer somebody in terms of money. And he couldn't take anybody's money because they weren't allowed to take it. So he still had ditches, but oftentimes I see people will try to find something pure like this. Like, okay, I'm going to try to find the purity of relationship. I'm not going to be married. I'm not going to have any money. And it's like this, it's like, okay. And sometimes they find some pure gem in there. But how much more difficult it is to be someone like me or you that is just living in the world. You're married or not. You have a job. You have a business of your own, or maybe you have a little bit of influence. How much harder is it to be pure with some stuff? Well, that is actually how you know the kingdom is actually alive inside of you. Because if the kingdom cannot work while you have stuff, then it's not really the kingdom. I think because of fear of stuff getting you, there was a whole world of people that said, we're not going to have anything, no stuff. We're going to be completely poor. And somehow we cannot have stuff, and that's going to make us more pure. But you don't really know your heart motive until you have something. And you know what I found as I began to move from that kind of a mindset, from someone that didn't have anything, pastor, you're not supposed to have any stuff. You're not going to have any money. You're not supposed to like, okay, no, it's not evil to have stuff, to be an entrepreneur, to have a business, to grow it, to multiply, to learn to like wheel and deal with deals and relationships and build business connections. It's like, okay, as I begin to acquire some stuff and build a business and begin to have some nicer things and have some money in my bank account and all of this, that I begin to realize it's like, okay, oh wow, Keith Ferrante is still here. I haven't become some whoremonger. I haven't become a friend of, like I don't prostitutes over my house. I'm not doing a bunch of drugs. I haven't like tipped over the edge. I'm not some prideful, egotistical person. At least I don't think I am. I'm not this. I didn't get like taken out. Now, did I wrestle through, and do I still have to wrestle through keeping my heart clean around stuff? Yes. Do I still occasionally, because I have something nice or have to wrestle through, does that define me, or am I defined because of Christ? And I still have to choose. No, Christ is what defines me, not my nice stuff. That come or go. It's not that. So yes, it's not like you don't have some temptations, but all that to say, some people will try to kind of move so far away from the world to try to find purity, or they just like, I think we can live in the life that you're in right now, whatever life you're in, and you can find purity. You can find pure friendship. You can have stuff and still have true friends. And you learn to discern. Now, I'm around a lot of people that have stuff, they have wealth, they have influence, and they have sometimes a lot of times I notice that is their struggle. Who can I trust? And I understand that because they have so many people that want their stuff. But eventually, I think you can weed through it and you can begin to have discernment. Like I have begun to be able to start weeding through some stuff. Look back to this quote uh, about worldly friendship. It contains nothing certain. It ever changes and follows the purse. In other words, that person might be your friend as long as you have money, the purse. But as soon as you don't have money, it's going to follow wherever the money is. So it's going to be, okay, see you later. Boom. I'm over here with this person. And it says, he is a fair weather friend and he will not abide in the day of your trouble. Take away his hope of profit and immediately he will cease to be a friend. Ooh. Um, in my journey of starting off um, as a pastor and then moving into an itinerant, which means you travel all over the place and you get your income from traveling and books and conferences and all of that sort of stuff. And it's like, um, I didn't realize, okay, if would I have been the friend of some of the business guys that were my donors had they not been supporting my ministry? Probably not. Take away his hope of profit and immediately he will cease to be a friend. Let's just be honest. What have I try to be pure. So if I would have ran into them and we could have just been friends, I would go on the journey with just about anybody in friendship because I genuinely do fight to care about anyone the Lord brings upon my path, whether the rich or poor, have anything, don't have anything. But let's just be honest. And I'm talking about myself, but just what about you? How pure would you be if someone you're hanging out with didn't have whatever they have? Would you still be hanging out with them? And that's what I found about myself. There were ditches in how I was relating. The system I was involved in had created you need their stuff, they need something from you. And then we also needed friendship and we put that kind of on top of all that, but underneath there was some of these motives. So it became to be these strings and it began to like get in the middle of our relationship. And I'm trying to stay pure because I know it's like I shouldn't want people's stuff, but it's like I better connect to them because connection is what causes them to send dollars my way. They feel like I am connected to them. They feel like I am caring about them. I bring in some spiritual intelligence their way. There's something I'm adding value to them. Just like a business guy thinks, okay, where does a business guy send his dollars? He sends his dollars to where he feels something is adding values to himself. So in business, maybe it's a product. Okay, I'll buy this product because it's going to add value to me. But spiritually, okay, yeah, I'll sow into your ministry because I'm getting value back. Some spiritual insights, some friendship. But would that value come if there were no dollars? Do you see that? There was value coming, but from a business mindset. Once I said, you know what, I'm not going to relate to business guys for their dollars anymore, then it's like, where'd that friendship go? Where'd that friendship go? And I had to begin to build because sometimes business guys would try to give me dollars even after I was becoming an entrepreneur. Here's some dollars. But they were trying to be my friend. And so I said, hey, I got better at discerning. It's like, no, you're not. I will not accept those dollars because friendship is over here. It's pure. If you want to be my friend, we're going to go on a journey of friendship, not give me dollars. And now it holds me to a friendship. That's not legit friendship. It's what he was saying from this book, worldly friendship, temporal advantage. Sometimes the business guy wanted something from me, wasn't monetarily, but it still wasn't pure. It still wasn't the pure relationship. They were trying to get a relationship because they knew their money would give them things. Maybe they were doing it subconsciously. And same with me. I was probably doing a lot of what I was doing subconsciously. Was I intentionally thinking, you know, I want to be your friend as a business person. And so I'm going to prophesy over you. And then you're going to be my friend. And then you're going to give me money. And we're going to have money and prophecy flowing. And we're going to have friendship. It's like, no, I'm not intentionally thinking that. But the Lord had to eventually show me this is what's going on underneath here. It's like, I want you to learn to love people, Keith, just to love people. Now, there are people that God has assigned to you that are people of influence, and you may still be around business people and influencers and this and that. But I want you just to love people genuinely, not for their stuff. And if they try to give you their stuff, you're not going to take their stuff. It's like, that's not what I'm in this for. Just love them and go on a journey. And so, I'm just starting the conversation here. It's kind of a dicey one. I've unveiled the back end of my heart. You could judge me for me sharing some things that the Lord showed me over 10 years ago that I was that where I was. And I had come to the end of that. And I wrote about that in my new book on friendship. That was where I began to come in. You have to recognize where your friendships have a worldliness to them before you're going to be able to get into the true spiritual friendship, as our 1,000-year-old friend has written, who is now in heaven, we hope. Um, but you have to come to the end of the wrong way of relating to people if you're going to come to the beginning of a pure way of relating to people. So I don't feel like my journey is a bad journey. I feel it's a journey of necessity to get me to where I'm at today, because I love and I'm in search of the treasure of friendship. And I have several really amazing friends in their work, and there's work in the relationships, and I have layers of friends, and I am in search of the treasure of friendships with people that I am just getting to know as well, because there's something here that's a treasure, and I'm fighting for the purity of it, the no strings attached friendships, where care comes both ways and love comes both ways, no matter what people have or don't have. And so I'm praying for you that you would, this conversation will at least provoke you to go on this journey for yourself, or to continue the journey wherever you're at with it. I pray this was some good nuggets for you. If it was, put some comments below. Let us know what you think about this conversation, some questions you might have about it. Invite somebody to like this, and we will talk to you again soon. Peace.